Hello. I am so thrilled to be here today with Joan Harrison, founder of Inner Peace End of Life Care and Grief Care. Joan is also a Reiki practitioner and a Scented Space Facilitator, where she uses aromatherapy for palliative care and grief. And Joan is also my friend. Welcome, Joan.
Thank you. Hi, Tracy. It's lovely to be here.
So, the Living Resource Project is a compassionate communities project that serves to remind us that we all have what it takes to show up for the grieving and the dying among us, and that we need each other on this journey of life through to death. So, Joan, to start our time off, I'm going to offer a little 3 candle blessing for our conversation today. I'm going to light a candle. The first candle is in honor of all past beings, all beings that used to be on this planet and are no longer here. This may be our ancestors, ancestors, ancestors. It may be more than human beings, animal beings, plant beings. This first candle is to honor all past beings. And the second candle, I'm about to light, is to honor all current beings, all beings that are presently on this planet now. Again, human beings, more than human beings. This candle is lit to honor all present beings. And the third candle is to honor all future beings, all beings that have not yet arrived here in this place. This third candle is to honor all future beings. And may the conversation that we have here today be for the benefit of all beings. May it be so. Thank you. So, Joan, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in the end of life space?
I offer myself. I offer myself as support. I listen. I can prioritize, read between the lines, clarify, facilitate whatever is needed of me during this most difficult time. I can help facilitate with agencies and the medical system. I can support family members, support the dying, and also support the family members. I can help people have a positive experience, creating a sacred moments and memories. I can acknowledge the special opportunity of the time to say goodbye that we are being given. Some of the other things that I do is I have Reiki. Reiki helps calm. It's using universal energy, which helps calm a person, center a person, and also give a person that time. There is nothing for them to do, just be. And the Reiki will bring them to a place of quiet and calmness. Now, the scented space is aromatherapy, and for palliative care, I use scents to bring up memories and to help a person remember. It just helps calm also. It's the olfactory system and your nervous system. It goes into and it calms. For people that are grieving, we have a little vial that you can put in your pocket. It's about this big. And if you find that you're out and you're having any kind of a panic, or you can just take this out and sniff it. It's called a sniffy stick, is the simple name for that. And that's really, really helpful when you're out in the community, to bring you down and center you and bring you back to be able to move forward with whatever chore that you're out there on. The grieving process is you start where you're out, you don't know what's going on, and you can bring it in. This centers you and brings it, grounds you, and it brings you back. to be able to work on whatever process that you're working on right now. Some of the things, everyone can be scared, but facilitating conversation, each person can support each other and bring comfort to a scary situation. It's a quiet, unopposing presence.
Thank you. I just want to touch in on a couple of the things you mentioned. First of all, I don't think I stated this in the introduction, but you are an end-of-life doula. So I just wanted to reinforce that. And the Reiki, I mean, I think it's really interesting. I went and experienced a Reiki session years ago because I've heard it's very supportive at end of life and for many other things. I went in knowing very little about it. And in all honesty, I still know very little about it, but I do know it is incredibly powerful. And I actually lean out on it now as a regular self-care tool, if you will. So if you could just maybe explain a little bit, you talked about it's, accessing universal energy, but I'm just wondering if you could share a little bit about what a Reiki session looks like. Do you actually touch the body? Because I just remember when I went into my first experience, I had no idea what was about to happen. So could you speak a little bit about a Reiki treatment?
Reiki sessions take just about an hour. We bring you in, and there is a bed set up, or you can have Reiki in a chair, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll have a chat beforehand to see if you would like to talk, or you don't have to. There is no obligation to share. If you'd like to share, I can certainly help with that. Then once you're on the bed, you're going to have pillows under your knees. We're going to make you as comfortable as possible so that you can take that half hour or 40 minutes we're going to spend doing the Reiki treatment in the most comfortable position, and you should be able to completely relax with it. You can have a blanket on or off, and this is your treatment. So you are in control of this at all times. I'm going to tell you that it'll be hands-on on the head, on the heart center right here, and the stomach area, and down to the feet. It takes about 35 minutes. If there's anywhere that you're uncomfortable with being touched, we don't have to do that. You're in total control. And I can also do Reiki above the body if there's a problem. Then afterwards, you will need a glass of water and possibly be up on your feet for 5 or 10 minutes, get a cup of tea, which we offer a cup of tea, cookies. Just make sure that you're grounded before you go out to drive your car. What happens during the session is that, as I said, we're using universal energy. So when I put hands on, you're going to feel a heat that's coming, and that energy will go where it's needed. I'm not directing the energy. Reiki energy goes where it's needed in the body. I'm being directed to where I put my hands on or over, whatever technique we're using, but the Reiki energy goes where it's needed. And when I say needed, it's where you have blocks. If you're holding something, usually grieving will hold right at the solar plexus, and it might just calm that and calm your nervous system. And just some of the things people have said after a Reiki session is that I feel so much lighter. I'm not carrying as much out as I came in with. I've had a person state that something shifted actually in the brain, that had a headache for quite a while, and that cleared. It's stuck energy, and the Reiki energy goes to it and just calms it down. And that's what the session's about. So it's just under an hour.
I'm curious, I know some people offer Reiki remotely. Do you offer it by phone?
I can offer it by phone. Zoom is better so that I can see a person.
Okay.
But definitely I can offer it by phone as well. And it's very effective.
Thank you so much for that. I do really relate to what you said about just feeling lighter. It's almost hard to put into words, that lighter feeling without really doing anything, which is remarkable. Like you say, you just show up and relax and let
Yeah.
the energy and the practitioner do the work. And it's so full of grace, truly, because there's just something enormous happening. And it's again hard to talk about. Well, I appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to just hear a little bit more about is a scented space. So your use of plants, aromatherapy to help people on the grief journey. I will share with everybody that Joan helped me greatly last June. No, not the June we had, the June before. My dear four-legged baby, my fur baby Ranger, died very unexpectedly. And I was really grieving that loss of my dear dog. And I leaned out on Joan, and we did this over Zoom because Joan lives in Nanaimo, so she's across the Salish Sea from me. Joan mailed me the most beautiful little knitted bag of four that included 4 sniffy sticks. I love the words sniffy sticks, by the way, especially when you say it with your accent. Joan guided me in a 4-week journey using these plants to move with my grief. And again, hard to put into words. It was so gentle, so healing, so there was just, like you said, the ability of the olfactory system. It is the one sense I understand that bypasses the brain and goes right to memory. And just as Joan shared earlier, we would use these sniffy sticks in a session. Joan would take me on a beautiful guided meditation that I would associate with a certain scent. And there was 4 scents used during those 4 weeks. Could you just share a little bit about the progression that you do with people who are experiencing loss?
The first one is the grounding one. When you experience a loss, you can feel lost. And your thoughts and feelings are not really here. So that first one is to actually ground you, to bring you back here when you smell that one. And that one is trees. There's 4 scents in that one, and it's trees. So if you were walking in the forest, you would be able to also get the same reaction from it. But if you're not near the forest and you're feeling that you need it, you just take it out of your pocket and smell it, and it will bring you back. It will ground you. The second one is the citrus. Once you're grounded, the second thing that needs to happen is you need to move forward. You've got things to do. You might have paperwork to take care of. You may have family members that are relying on you to take care of certain things. So the citrus is the thing that keeps you moving forward. It helps you get out of bed in the morning when you don't want to, you don't feel you can. It helps you get moving. It helps you get that thing done. And if you have to go back to bed, then you'll go back to bed. But this will actually help you accomplish certain things when you don't feel like doing anything at all. The third one is the most difficult. It's flowers. And that's the realization that your person has passed. Your visitors have stopped coming because the time has gone by, that all of a sudden you're alone with your own thoughts. And this is the one, is all about love. And it's all about, there's rose in there, there's jasmine, there's some beautiful things in that particular one. And it allows you to access your memories and the good memories. And I would say that that's the hardest one to get through, because your mind is quiet and all of a sudden there's just you and your memories then. The fourth one is herbs and spices. That one helps you get on with your life. It's time to move forward without that special person. It will help you do that. It'll help you keep moving forward. And I've known people go back to trees some days. You can go all the way back to trees. And you need that tree sniffy stick, or you go for a walk in the forest or whatever. or you're in the supermarket and you've forgotten your sniffy stick, you can go into the produce department and see the oranges and the lemons. And there are things that represent the sniffy sticks that are out there. So, yeah, go ahead.
Really appreciate you bringing that up because I really believe that that's an outdated story, that grief is linear. It's not true. And so just that honoring that you do guide people through that series of 4 different scents specific to experiences that are common in grief, but it's not to say that, it's neat and tidy and you just move through and then you're done. That was my experience. I would bring all 4 with me when I'd go out. And sometimes I really needed that grounding, like you were saying, and I'd use that one. And other times I would use citrus if I felt like I needed a boost. I love the progression of that because it does sort of give you the sense that you're not stuck, but also really honoring that grief is so wild and unpredictable and being able to use the sticks in that way. Yeah. I just want to express gratitude to you. I have already, and just share with anyone listening that experience of allowing you to support me in my grief for Ranger through your skills that you've acquired through a Scented Space was so gentle and so loving and supportive and exactly what I needed. And I'm just very grateful that our paths have crossed and that we were connected at a time when I needed your support and you so generously offered it to me. It was beautiful and exactly what I needed.
Thank you for saying so. Thank you.
So, Joan, what led you to the work you do today? Can you pinpoint like a path or a series of dots that you can connect that has led you to this beautiful work that you're doing?
I've always done something in the healthcare system, but mainly in administration, etc. And at one point in my career, I had an opportunity to manage a retirement residence. We had 135 residents of different stages of wellness. It was independent, but there were times when the people would have to go somewhere else for more care, or they would actually go to the hospital because they were passing. And what I found was I didn't have any experience in that whatsoever. And I felt that I needed to get some education around that so that I could be helpful. I didn't feel helpful. I couldn't say the right things. I couldn't do the right things. And once I got into the work with you, Tracy, a wonderful program through the Douglas College, I realized it's a passion. It's an absolute passion for me. And everything I've done throughout my life has led me right here, right to this. And anything I do around this, like the Scented Space and the Reiki, is all part of the passion for this beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you so much. Joan, I was wondering if you can share a story about the work you do. Maybe it was a client or a situation that surprised you or somehow deepened your understanding, maybe about what you offer or the end of life journey, something that changed you.
I've got so many significant moments in time. It's not one client for me, it's a moment in time with each one. For instance, there was the day that the dying cared for me. My client told me that I was looking very tired and I should go get some cucumbers. And this is a male client, and put them over my eyes and find a really quiet corner. He said, I've heard that works wonders. And he died 2 days later. So that was a moment. Another one was the day that my calm demeanor and my Reiki practice was able to take my client from being extremely anxious and frightened. And she had not slept since being diagnosed. And I left her sleeping after a Reiki treatment and calmed her down completely. It's just these moments, these special times. I'm in awe of the resilience of people, even resilience of people that are dying. There are people around them. I'm in awe of the fact that scent can bring their memories flooding back I'm talking about palliative care people now, or help the severely grief-stricken young person cope through the upcoming obligations around the death. I realize that I'm a tool. I'm a tool for people. I'm a tool to be accessed when you're experiencing confusion, a lack of knowledge and understanding. I can help you retrieve a sense of control in your life, in your situation, and be a steadying energy when you're experiencing little wobbles.
That's my experience of you, is that humility and that gentleness. Yeah. If there was one thing that you would like the dying and their people to know, Joan, what would it be?
It would be that although this is the most difficult time, it can be seen as a gift. It is a gift. Some people that pass without any notice at all leave people behind wondering, I could have done, or I should have done, or I would have done. This time could be a time, an opportunity to look at some wonderful memories and address any past difficult situations. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know it's a shock. Once you get over the shock, that time can be used to maybe do a legacy project, or leave photos behind, or write letters for your people. That time can be used very lovingly.
Yeah, I really feel that. Thank you. Just yesterday, I was sitting with a new client. It was the first time we met. And we talked about the power of legacy. And it was so simple. His son just started asking him about his life and was just recording it on his iPhone under voice memos. And to see the comfort that this brought this man who is single, he's living by himself. He's facing his own dying in the next few months, and power of reviewing a life, of talking about accomplishments and relationships and the high notes and the low notes. It is so powerful, truly so powerful. Yeah.
And the sideline to that, Tracy, is you have that voice recorded.
Yeah.
I have a recording of my mom on my answering machine. You know how we used to have answering machines with a little tape?
Yeah.
And that's a very valued piece for me. It's her voice on that machine.
That's precious.
Yes, it is.
So Joan, looking into the horizon, into the future, what are you dreaming into? If you can get creative and open to the possibilities, what do you see as being needed in the future for death care, for us to meet death with more acceptance and grace?
I thought long and hard on this, and there are practicalities to this. And I'm dreaming of the day that the death doulas, the beautiful people, are accepted as an integral part of the healthcare team in hospice and palliative care, to be able to use their skills as needed in that situation, use a set of skills and are respected for their role, including the other modalities of the Reiki scented space, to bring that in, and for us to be trusted to be able to put those things forward in a professional manner. I would really like to be called in when a person is passing and they don't have anyone and to sit vigil with them, to know that that's happening. And that would be also in that healthcare team, to be able to come in and sit with them and be with that person during that time, who are not supported by family or anyone. The role itself as doula, I think it's progressing the way it should. It's slow, but it's progressing the way it should, which is giving it an integrity. And I think we will get to the point that our role will be seen and respected.
Yeah, I agree. That's very much up for me right now. For people that are listening and aren't aware, currently here in Canada, there's the public healthcare system, and doulas are a privately obtained member of the palliative care team. So people currently pay for doulas privately. And there really isn't here in Canada, at least in the area that I work in. And I talked to a lot of people across the country that do this work as well. It doesn't seem to be a lot of integration between the public and the private healthcare that's offered, holistic care that's offered. And just this week, Joan, I had something very surprising happen. As you know, I volunteer at hospice. I've been there for almost 10 years. And one of the palliative care physicians from hospice reached out about wanting to brainstorm about possible ways that these two, private and public, can somehow come together creatively. And, I have to admit, when I first started at hospice, early on, when I was leaning into the role of doula, doing my training and all that, I kept it a secret because I know of the stigma that is often attached to the role. And so I didn't tell anybody. And it was revealed a couple of years ago, and people there now know. And it's just so exciting to think, just in my 10 years, going from a place of keeping that a secret for fear of what people will think, to having a palliative care physician reach out with curiosity to brainstorm. So I think things are shifting. And just yesterday morning, I spoke to Dr. Emma Clare, who is head of End of Life Doula UK. And she was saying that she does a lot of work as well, trying to just educate people in the system about doulas. And, she was saying, we're not trying to take patients away. We're trying to support patients earlier on or in different ways. And we talked about the beauty that would happen if we could collaborate, if we had a way of communicating with the care team in the public system. It would just make things easier all around for us as doulas, for the doctors and nurses, and for the people doing the dying and their people. So I do get this sense that there is a shift, and this stretched system now of public health care. People are really realizing on the inside that are working in there, and the people that are being served by that system, that things do have to change. And yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens in the future.
That's very exciting to hear, Tracy. Very exciting to hear.
Well, Joan, is there anything else you'd like to say to feel complete before we say goodbye?
No, thank you. I just like to thank you very much for this opportunity to do this, to have this chat, and to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes and sharing about what you do and the gifts that you offer. And I have a little pack of cards here. These are gratitude cards. And just as a balance to this conversation about death and grief, I thought I'd offer us a note on gratitude to end. So these cards are created by an organization called School of Life. So you can find them at theschooloflife.com. And they're these beautiful little cards. They're tiny, and they have black and white images on one side. They're all different. And then little notes on gratitude on the other side. So I'm just going to pull one. So the image looks like a woman wearing leopard skin speaking into a microphone. And the note on gratitude is, we can get to hear the jokes and stories of the funniest people on the planet. There you go.
That's awesome.
Humor. That's good medicine right there, humor.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Joan, for being here. I'm so grateful for you. And for those watching, to find out more about Joan and how to get in touch with her, you can see the living resource page at www.endwell.ca. Until we meet again. Bye for now, Joan.
Bye.